Hello and welcome to the Run Channel podcast with me, Sarah Hartley. Rick Kelsey is over to my left. Andy Badley is over to my right.
And after Rick's tirade last week about a fellow parkrunner's heavy breathing and his more or less medical intervention, if you're to listen to Rick's claims, we actually thought that this week we should talk about how breathing impacts your running and what you can do about it.
Yeah, I actually tried to breathe through my nose running at the weekend. Yeah. I'm just going to tell you it was extremely hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been hit with a cold, so I only have positive things to say.
Yeah, I wouldn't even try it with a cold.
Yeah.
We're also going to be checking in with Jess, who's been in South Africa where it got a little bit windy.
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
But in positive news, though, she has sent us a quiz, which I'm very excited about.
Oh, yeah, I love a quiz.
Yeah.
Yeah, unusually for you two to be competitive. Looking forward to a quiz because we found out something else about Sarah's competitive nature last week after recording the podcast. Right. So yeah, maybe we should get into it.
Let's do it.
Genuinely have no idea what you're on about. What did we find out?
Well, you and I went head to head, didn't we?
Oh, yes, we did. Worst day of my life.
Well, not least because slightly disgustingly, you got showered with my sweat at various points.
Oh my God, yeah, right. So let's set the scene. Me, Mark and Jess were going head to head against Andy. We were on side-by-side treadmills in a really like fancy running shop.
Yes.
I think we should set the scene here. It was the Run Limited store, beautiful. Wahoo treadmills, equally beautiful. Andy left the room looking like there was a leak.
I looked like I'd looked after a run in Japan, or worse, because it was so humid.
Honestly, worse. It was honestly like he was in his own climate by the end of this 10k
you put me
run.
Through the ringer.
It was raining over on Andy's treadmill.
Well, so I just had the easy job in inverted commas of running 10k flat out.
Yeah.
Whilst the three of you ran in relay next to me to try to beat me.
Yeah.
Who won?
Oh, are we giving that away?
Well,
was it close?
Incredibly close, yes.
Honestly, seconds, like literally seconds.
And it wasn't faux close, it was real close.
No, it was
Correct.
real close because also it wasn't just like a flat 10k head to head. Like there was elevation, there was pacing changes that, it was dramatic.
So we were simulating a
really
particular course
dramatic.
that actually had a 7% gradient in the middle of it.
It was
really?
grim.
Yeah, disgusting.
We did realise though that put Jess on a hill and she is well happy.
Yeah,
Really?
she was
literally living the dream
Oh,
running up those hills.
That girl. So you, Jess and Mark, all out against Andy at 10k. I mean,
Jess and Mark, very fast. Me, not so fast.
Well, you're pretty
You were
useful,
quite,
though.
yeah, I think you were quite fast. I think you're doing yourself a disservice, but your main role seemed to be just to be lippy. It was 30 plus minutes of
Just to have a gob on.
just constant abuse of me.
Yeah, I was watching the edit back, being like, oh, yeah, I was quite savage there. And also Andy did have a right to reply, but obviously was running a flat out 10k, so didn't really reply.
Didn't
so I
feel
was
that
just
much
stood
like
there
reply.
being like, remember when you were in the Olympics? That was a nice time.
I'm really looking forward to watching this. Have you two heard of the P index with Parkrun? The P index.
No,
But
back to you.
as in going for a wee.
No, it's just called the Parkrun P index. Have you heard of it?
No, what is it?
So it's getting big, and loads of people were talking to me about it the weekend. So
At
the
your
P index,
notoriously huge park
Yeah,
run.
loads of people. At least
Let's see.
three people came up and spoke to him about it.
Well, that is big for him.
would you like to know what it is or not?
Spreadsheet Chris had it written down.
We've got him.
Well, he did actually.
Yeah.
Right, sorry, mate.
We'd
Go
The
love
on.
P
to hear about
index
it.
is the
P
largest
index.
number, P, such that you have run at least P different parkrun events, P times each. So if you've done 8
What?
runs at your home parkrun, 5 runs at another, 3 runs at a third, and 1 at a fourth, you've done 4 different parkruns, but only 3 of them have been done 3 times or more. So your P index is 3. Does that make sense?
No.
So what's your P index?
My P index would be 2 because I've only done 2 parkruns.
At another park
And
run.
yeah, more than 10 times.
Right, and why
So
do we care about
if you've
this?
done
Yeah.
10 runs at one event, 10 at another, and 10 at a third, then your P index would be 3 because you've done 3 events at least 3 times each. So you need to get P4, you need to have done 4 different events at least 4 times each.
Oh,
Does that
right,
make,
interesting.
see what I mean? So it's harder incrementally to go up. So you need to do the same amount of events, the same amount of times.
So what's the highest P index?
Well, this is the competition at the
I think
moment.
it's Rick's taking the P index right now. Nobody cares about this.
Do you know what was it on the podcast, or
It's
was
a
it
thing,
in
it's a
Tokyo,
thing.
where I was talking about how obviously world records are huge at the moment, and loads of them are so incredible. But do you ever sometimes look at like when people announce these incredible feats and just be like, what are we going to be doing in 50 years time? Like it's no longer going to be like running.
Yeah.
Like at the moment we've got consecutive marathons, or we've got like a marathon in this place. Like what are we going to be left with? It's like the P index. Clearly tourism, that's boring now. Clearly amount of parkruns, boring now. Now they've had to do some very complicated
I think mine's 3. I was
math.
trying to work it out. I think mine might be 3.
Okay.
I think I might have the highest P index because I started
because
parkrunning.
they're interested. They are interested.
Oh no, we're only interested because ours are higher than yours. That's you brought it up, and then
Is there a way to find out, or do I have to do maths?
Well, no, it's the same. So
there's
how
not a
many
P index
maths?
calculator.
I need
No,
a
like
P
on their
index
website.
calculator. I can't do it by myself.
If anyone's listening and wants to code that.
Yeah, can someone work out my P index and send it in?
Okay.
Thanks.
But it blew my mind, the whole P thing. And then...
Easily blown. Well, I would say.
but it did. And then I went to...
It's like a light bulb going on inside a mouse
And then Chantal
house.
sent me to Sainsbury's in North London for some pickles. And I thought, I don't know, what is it? What's a pickle? I just couldn't think what a pickle looked like. So I thought, I'll search. No. Let me hang on. I couldn't picture what a pickle was. So I thought I'd get my phone out and search pickle. But I'm in North London, so high up, no reception in my Sainsbury's.
Right.
So I'm just walking around, couldn't find what a pickle is. I had to ask just random strangers. They told me
no one
not
that
the people
there.
who work in the shop.
It's a gherkin.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in
So
Chantal's
P-index
mind, it's a gherkin, but in the UK, a pickle is something else, isn't it? Like salad, like
Pickle
Branston's
onion.
pickle. I would think of pickle like as in the brown chopped up, like
Branston.
yeah, Branston's pickle. Yeah.
I think it's just a gherkin.
Can we
Well,
talk
in America
about?
and in North America, it is.
Yeah.
Can we talk about running?
Yeah.
Sorry,
That
P-index.
literally had
Yeah.
you really could have left out the entire thing about pickles, and
I've got some
we
running
all
chat.
would have carried on.
Sorry.
I've got some running
Thank
chat.
you. Carry on.
Last week,
Back in.
started with this treadmill challenge.
Yeah.
That the 7 days from Monday to Sunday was my biggest week of running since retiring from professional running.
Woo!
Wow.
I
That
feel
is
like that
big.
was slightly
How do you-
sarcastic, Sarah.
Well, you know, I have
mate,
to feign
I was proud
caring.
of it.
How do you feel now? Are
I'm
your legs
exhausted,
okay?
yeah. I sort of hadn't this kind of bone tired feeling is new.
See, Andy was late in today because he said his son didn't want to go to school.
Correct.
Was it actually you didn't want to go to school today?
I did not want to
I'm
come.
a bit tired.
It was.
I
It
ran
was
really
tough.
far last week.
Hey,
I don't want to go to
I
school.
was very pleased with myself. 87 kilometres.
That's
a lot.
in
Not
the week.
messing about.
Yeah, it's taken a long time to build up to that volume and also to running 5 times a week.
Is
It's
it-
the only way to do it.
So we're getting quite serious about the marathon
Yeah.
now. Valencia,
disgusting.
how are we feeling? How many weeks to go?
6 weeks, 6 days.
Roughly. Not that we're counting.
Roughly.
How many
My watch
hours?
tells me. I did 30k yesterday. That was my big long run. I had a couple of big sessions as well. One big session during the week. And it was really tough. And my lovely daughter was laughing at me because my long run I started at just before 7 a.m. on Sunday morning to get this 30k done. But the night before, I'd picked her up from her swimming gala and she's like, where are we going? This isn't the way home. I was like, no, we need to go to 17k on my long run so that I can stash a water bottle by the side of the road. She's like, what?
Oh, so you drove to it to stash
Was it still there the next morning?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Well, I mean, I dropped it off at like 9 p.m. in the dark and then
but like Foxes, the evening.
I don't think Foxes can open a sports water bottle, can they?
No, but they could have picked it up.
Isn't that kind of casual littering?
Well, no, because I took it with me the next day.
It's quite casual littering, but more in a
didn't
like,
ditch it.
that's quite useful littering. Like, it's not an empty bottle.
Yeah.
I mean, this is so foreign to me. You just go and leave
Yeah,
food
I mean, if
and
that was in
water.
North London,
you
I've
leave,
got
you leave food and water in
properly
places
in the middle of the countryside.
around
What
central
water bottle?
Bedfordshire.
Was it just your standard plastic?
Yeah, it was a plastic
disposable?
disposable bottle, but it had like a sports lid on it, and it just had water in it. So then I picked it up at 17k, ran with it for the next few
this is
kilometers.
so mad.
And then I was running with someone else, so we shared it. And then we ran past a recycling bin, put it in the recycling bin.
I don't think anybody does this, Andy. I honestly think this is really weird. You need to check yourself.
No, to be fair, I have done it. I've done it in 2 different ways.
You've
Either
driven
one.
somewhere the night before
No,
to
I've never
stash
done.
a water bottle.
That's weird. I've been on long runs where someone's known someone on the route. So literally we've met at like 7 a.m. and someone's been like, oh yeah, my friend lives at like 75, blah, blah, blah. We'll stop there en route. And literally we stop. She runs in, knocks on the door, and there's ice cold water out the fridge. Well,
this was ice cold because it was, I must have gone past this point at about 8:15.
There you go.
You know what? If you give me a good idea, I might leave myself a fry up and some cling film on Highgate Hill.
No, then you would be put on a list. That's the line.
And I've been building up my carbs as well. So I actually had in 2 hours, 10 minutes roughly of running, I had 4 40-gram carbs, gels,
nice.
which was a lot. But yeah, I didn't throw up.
You're getting really organised. Meanwhile, at the time of recording this, it is 5 days or 6 days till I'm running a marathon.
1,200 metres underground.
I don't really feel that prepared, guys. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, I forgot you're doing this.
Yeah, I was telling people about it.
You've got your hard hat, haven't you? And your like shiny clothes and stuff.
Yes. Have I practiced running in my hard hat? No. Have I practiced in my clothes? No. But there was, when we had the briefing, they were like, you can practice in your t-shirt if you want, but also we've like stuck loads of stuff on the back of it, so you might not want to practice in it. So I'm just going in very blind.
Well,
literally, because it's so dark underground.
Well, I wanted to ask you about something, because in preparation for your underground marathon, which is 1,100-1,200 meters underground, it's going to be pretty hot.
Yeah.
It's also obviously 42 kilometers.
Yeah.
Your Strava session at the weekend was an interval session with your dog.
Yeah.
And I thought Rick would really enjoy the description of it. It's 3 times 1K with around 90 seconds recovery, along with 3 poos, lots of sniffs, and a couple of swims. But what was Herbert doing?
That's literally what a comment said, wasn't it? Someone was like, you should really bring Herbert with you next time. He would have enjoyed that.
Don't just use Herbert as an excuse for you having three poos in bushes.
So good. Honestly, it was a thoroughly enjoyable run. However, because also I would love, so on Strava now, I think they've updated it where you can say that you're running with your dog, because it literally is cheating. Yeah. Like so cheating. It literally felt, I was going like, I think our average K splits were like 4:50, 4:45, and it felt like I was just going out for a jog.
Oh, wow.
I mean, with the slight, like, how we get going is Herbert sets off at far too fast a pace.
Yeah.
For the length of his lead, then the bungee like catches us both, and then he's like, oh, okay, no, we're going a bit slower, and then we settle into the pace. So there is like quite a jolt, but he's doing very well. A future budding running buddy. We just need to build up his distance a little bit.
Oh, I love it. I'm sorry, I'm going back to my run just because it's related to you, Sarah. I'd planned this, and I'd been given like, I was supposed to progress every 10K with the paces.
Yeah, in the 30K.
Yeah. So like 10K easy, 10K faster, 10K faster again. Mm-hmm. And I went to my default, which is like, well, last time I was training for a marathon, which is the most, so 2 years ago was the last time around 30K. I was like, well, I have a 30K route. I'll just do that. And it's the route that you and Tom came on the bike with me.
I did see on your Strava. I was like, oh, I remember that being pretty bad.
Yeah.
Did you have someone with you though for 30K?
Yeah, I did. A guy called Connor from the local running club. He was amazing, although he was less on message with the pacing. I told him what we needed to do, and then in the first 10K, actually is the flattest bits of running, and we were rolling along way too fast. And I was like, mate, just chill. It's all right. I've got 25K to go.
And he was
Is he training for a marathon?
He's also doing
is he?
Ah.
He's also doing Valencia.
And when you were out there, how was your breathing?
Good question, Rick. I didn't, on my 30K, try to practice nasal breathing. And up one of the hills, the hill on which that I dropped Sarah and Tom when they came and filmed with me 2 years ago. Yeah. And Tom, they had to get off the bike like Chris Froome in the Tour de France and push the bike and run.
Pretty bad. I remember that moment fondly, because you weren't stopping either. Fair enough.
That was where I hid my water, was at the bottom of that hill, foolishly, because then I was trying to run up this hill drinking water, which was stupid. But yeah, we're going to talk all about breathing now, aren't we? About how breathing affects your running. Yeah,
we actually got a message from producer Owen ahead of the weekend being like, look, guys, I know you don't read my brief until the morning of, but there's a task, there's homework for you. And I got a cold, so I couldn't do this homework. I did try. You can still probably hear my cold because I've spent the whole weekend with 1-year-olds who have given me more germs.
Lovely.
But that's what I've got. Oh. That's my note.
I mean, I can tell you, I found it incredibly hard.
Really?
To try and breathe through my nose, as in my intake of breath.
Yeah, it's just not enough, is it?
It's just not enough. And actually, your overall ventilation can be 20 times higher than when you're resting, when you're running. So the idea of having
is it?
less
Yeah.
coming in through my nose and trying to get it out through my mouth, it was just too much.
Do you find
I
that
lasted I think I did about 200 meters.
It's a strange one.
Really?
When I try to just breathe through my nose, I feel like I'm going to suffocate almost. But then if my nose is blocked and I'm running, then it's so much
awful.
difficult. You don't
Yeah.
realise how much you're using both. That's the difference, I think.
This is what I was going to say. I don't really use either in isolation. I am such a mouth breather, but
Wow.
Yeah.
but actually, like, I'm also constantly breathing through my nose as well. So I really do notice it. But when I was at school, I remember my PE teacher, I think she was called Miss Tharp, was always like, 2 in through your nose and then breathe out through your mouth. So
Like,
when we were running at school, it was
I see what you mean.
like a choo-choo
little
train.
choo-choo train.
Yeah. But I suppose it's down to your speed. But when I was going through this, if your body can't get enough oxygen during exercise, then lactate builds up in your muscles. And that can cause cramps and tiredness. But this stat that Owen got, 40% of runners may experience exercise-induced dyspnea. Now,
EID.
IED. So this is a
No,
feeling.
not ID. That's different.
EID.
IED, very different.
Yeah.
So
You
this
don't
is
want one of those when
no.
you're
a
running.
feeling of extreme breathlessness that can make it harder to enjoy running long term. Now, I've run since I was probably 7 or 8. I started doing cross country in primary school. So I've been doing it a while and I never experienced this EID until I was training for the London Marathon in 2017. And when I got to some longer runs, I pushed myself. And I remember I was coming into Blackheath Village and it was the last kind of stretch. We were living in South East London at the time.
Just
And
about.
Just about. I
So
know what
this
you're
is
going to say.
this is an in-joke because Rick used to claim he usually lived in the Royal Borough of Greenwich.
I did.
But he used to refer to it like you're living in Greenwich, but you might as well have been in Dover. It was so far away.
God, you know what? Sometimes just can't leave me alone, can you?
No, I can't.
Anyway, so I'm on this training run coming into Blackheath Village, and all of a sudden, my whole body cannot pull enough oxygen in to keep running. Like, so say I was breathing in, it was like 10% of the air was going into my windpipe, and I'd never
Really?
experienced this my whole life. And until I've read about it recently, I've only just realised what was going on, and it happened again on another park when I was pushing myself again during this training block for a marathon, and this EID stuff, and it is a terrifying feeling that you can't get enough oxygen into your system because you're pushing yourself in. You're going to a place that you haven't been before.
Yeah, and it's hard when you read about this to distinguish, I think, between, like, you know, if you are going to your limit, then a whole bunch of things are going to be a limiting factor on how fast you can go, but one of them's sort of obviously going to be your breathing. And when you read about it, I think it just sounds like, well, obviously it's going to be hard to breathe because you're running hard, but this is different.
This is
a
something
level
else.
above that. Yeah.
Have you experienced it when you were training?
No, and it's interesting because we're going to talk about some techniques for almost training your breathing that might help. And you're asking me about this, and it's a bit like I just naturally knew how to breathe when I was running and never had to think about it. But then plenty of people will ask me this question, so it's not as obvious, but it's difficult for me to. It's a bit like when your kids ask you to teach them to draw or to hold a pen or something like that. You're like, well, I can just do it. So actually unpicking that and working out how you do the things that you do is quite difficult. So there's that side of it. So I've experienced extreme breathlessness. I actually had exercise-induced asthma, or I suppose technically still have it, but it's less prevalent now because I was constantly pushing myself to the limit when I was racing as a pro. And when you run indoors and when you run really hard in the winter, which I don't do quite so much anymore, the air's really dry. And so that can inflame your lungs and have and kind of exaggerate that asthmatic feeling. So I've experienced the kind of the wheeze and the tight chest due to asthma symptoms, but I think that's slightly different to this dyspnea stuff. But yeah, the amount of oxygen you need to get in and how efficient you are at breathing. You've got a few things at play, haven't you? Sorry, in running, you've got how much oxygen you can get in through the breathing process, and that's going to be limited by whether your nose is blocked, how much you can get in to your actual airways, how efficient your diaphragm is at working, and the intercostal muscles between your ribs. And then once it's in, there's a separate thing which we're not going to talk about today, which is oxygen transport. And so that's like what a lot of prolonged cardiovascular training makes better. It's what drugs cheats try to cheat by getting better oxygen transport by taking EPO or something like that. And it's what altitude also simulates.
Well, that diaphragmatic breathing is basically how I fixed the problem, because it happened to me over probably a series of 3 or 4 weeks where this terrifying experience of breathlessness kind of came on. And then I did speak to someone, and it was about bringing the air deeper into my diaphragm and breathing through my belly. So when you're taking it in now, and even during a fast park run now, I try to breathe so much deeper, and so it comes out the lower part of my throat instead of hitting the top and reverberating.
Which a lot of people who maybe have like had singing lessons, or like I think swimmers do a lot of this as well. So
I reckon like any wind instrument or like brass instruments as well, you just have to learn kind of breathing techniques.
Yeah, so for a lot of people, like if you think about where your lungs are when you're breathing in, you would think about your chest like rising and falling, and that's where your breath should come from. Whereas I had singing lessons as a kid, so for me this has always been like, that's how you breathe. But I think for a lot of people, when you start running, your chest is going up and down, and especially like in the like latter stages of a race, quite often when you hear people like you were talking about last week, Rick, where you are feeling really tired, your breathing is very like that's like really high up in your chest, whereas actually when you want to breathe, you really want to use your diaphragm, which is kind of like just below your ribs. So like if you're listening to this right now and you're able to do this, place your hand on the top of your chest and kind of on your belly, and then try and take a deep breath in, and the hand that's on your chest shouldn't move. But as you breathe in, try and inflate your stomach so that your bottom hand is kind of, your belly is like moving in and out, and that's what's affected by your breathing. It might take a little bit of time, but I see people do this and doing this kind of wrong in running all of the time, and it can make it feel so much harder. So like your shoulders shouldn't really be coming up and down. It should be all down in your stomach, because you're like inflating your diaphragm. And with that as well, another thing that makes a huge difference, and Tom gets so angry when I tell him this, but he loves having his chest
he does.
on his chin on your chest, which loads of people do. But think about, like, you need your windpipe to be open so you can get the air in. So the reason that we're like, imagine a piece of string coming up out the top of your head is because you need it to be open. You need to be able to give yourself the best chance of getting the air down into your diaphragm.
There is a compound effect here. So Andy has always told you and I about the puppet on the string. Stand up, lock
Good
shot.
posture.
Good posture. So
is that right? Because my posture generally is quite bad.
But towards the end of races, everyone's guilty of it to some extent, where you become more hunched. So not only is you're just like, can I get stuff in quicker through chest breathing, but your diaphragm is not open, your posture is pulling in, so your shoulders are coming in, so you're scrunching your chest more, so you're not getting as much oxygen in. So you've got the compound effect of your body closing in, but also your breathing closing in as well. So that's why we need to open it up.
Also, that's a big reason why, like, you know how, like, as in like me and you, Rick, we both did drama, and I would say we're both quite loud people. But I think that's because when you have that like posture training, when you have like breathing training, you can like project more, and that's like a huge thing as well, because you have more air, so you can like push more air out as well.
How much projection did you have to do as Big Rock number 3 in your groundbreaking dissertation?
Well, I was so far back on the stage
so
that I really had to project, just so that people could hear my grunts. It's Big Rock number 3.
Well, I think just to recap, it's stay tall, shoulders back as well. If you want to, because also that's why my coach would always say in interval training, your gut reaction after a really tough interval, even though you've got another interval to go in maybe a minute or 90 seconds or whatever your recovery is to stop, hands on knees, and then you're not getting any, but because you just want to take it easy, but actually keeping moving, maybe even putting your hands on your head, opening up your chest and getting the breath in is quite a big deal. Keeping your shoulder blades pulled back, staying nice and tall, keeping your breathing low in your chest. And then the default for loads of people when stuff gets really tough in a race or in a workout or whatever, your heart rate's high, you're at your limit, particularly shorter distances, I think this 5 and 10K. And then it's natural to panic a little bit. And when people panic, it's not a conscious thought that you're going to breathe higher up in your chest, but you start breathing more shallow, and you can run past people and you hear the because it's between their kind of chin and their sternum almost, is like that high breathing, where you'd experience it if you had almost like a tickle in your chest or in your throat, like that. You're breathing too high then. And so we're trying to drop it down.
If anyone's listening to this on a run, I hope in the last like few minutes you've gone from
You've tried them all out.
yeah, you're probably running past people in a park breathing really weirdly, but it's good to practice, and it is one of those things like running form, like running cadence. Sometimes it's one of those things where eventually it needs to just be a subconscious thought, but in order to make a change, if you are someone where at the end of a park run or at the end of a race or at the end of a run you are struggling with your breathing, it might take a little bit of conscious thought in a few runs for it to then become subconscious.
Well, and when we've done videos like we did my video where I've run a sub 20-minute 5k on camera, or where I run with Jess, or where I've run with you as well, and you'll hear the cues that I'm giving, and I'll give them to myself when I'm on my own on a run. Sometimes I'll just shake my arms out and try and have a little mental reset of like, just relax, like breathe lower down, just don't, because you don't want that thought of panic. Because if you are trying to run a personal best in any distance, then you are going to be, certainly if it's a long race towards the end, but even the first few minutes of a 5k can be quite terrifying.
Also, even like elites will have that reset moment. Yeah. Like they obviously will train it to try and be super relaxed and calm in a race setting. But just because you have to have that little reset doesn't mean you've failed. It's so much better to like spot that early on, and then you're not doing it for that whole run. Yeah.
And if you do mindfulness practice, it's no different there. You're not bad at meditation if every few minutes you have to bring your focus back to your breathing. If anyone's ever done meditation practice, then this is the same. It doesn't make you a bad runner. If you're out there for 4 or 5 hours, running whatever distance you might be running, there's going to be moments where your mind just wanders, or you stop focusing on something. You have to give it a nudge and go, I'm starting to kind of sit down in my running. I'm starting to hunch my shoulders. I'm not breathing right. You can just give yourself a little reset. Some people wear little elastic bands on their wrists or bracelets or something, and then they snap them to kind of
like snap them back into focus.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, hopefully that was useful. Hopefully we've helped some of your breathing. If you have any other questions, or if there's any other topics related to that you want us to answer in a future episode, email in podcast@therunningchannel.com. Now, should we talk about some news?
I wonder, just before we do the news, whether we could ask people if they've had any experiences of this, just to let us know. So at podcast@therunningchannel.com, drop us an email, and whether you struggled with it, whether you found a solution, whether you've run with someone else and been able to help them, or how you snap yourself out of it if you find your sort of self doing that kind of panicked breathing. We'd love to hear about it.
Oh, those poor people in Cape Town. It didn't work out. Got a bit windy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an understatement. There were 24,000 people in Cape Town for the marathon, and this was supposed to be its last incarnation before becoming an official world marathon major. So it felt like a formality to go through the final round of appraisals and checks and so on. So this is big news.
A really hard decision for the organisers to have to make, but obviously safety has to come first. And when you're, it was going to be the kind of biggest version of it they'd ever put on, and you don't want to risk 24,000 people potentially getting injured or worse.
And they can go again next year or 2027, can they? Yeah,
so the next version of the event was set to be in May. Abbott World Major Marathons have put out a kind of holding post at the time of recording of they're discussing with the organisers what happens next. We don't know what will happen next. We were expecting some kind of announcement off the back of the marathon, but who knows what will happen next.
It's got to be, imagine being, I mean, well, there's two sides. Obviously, it's going to be awful if you've spent a lot of money to be there and to take part in the marathon. But yeah, from what I'd read and from what Jess had said, stuff was blowing around. Like it was
dangerous.
And I think what I read online was about was it the start finish area? Like this stuff had physically been blown over.
Yeah, they'd built loads of infrastructure and it had just all blown over overnight. So there wasn't like a safe place to kind of gather everyone to start the race. And then obviously you don't know what could blow over during the race as well.
Where are we at with world majors at the moment? Because obviously this was at the second stage of candidacy to become a world major.
Candidacy.
So this would have been number 8.
Yeah.
So Sydney got added, that was number 7. This would have been added to be number 8, and then Shanghai is in contention for number 9.
Right.
But the world major marathons have just been blown wide open, literally.
There we go. There we go.
Sorry. But I do think there's a lot of good advice out there. And one of the best posts I saw was from Carla Molinaro, who is a phenomenal British ultra runner who lives out in Cape Town. And I think she summed it up really well of just saying, like, look, people can't race all the time. It might be injury. It might be something like this where the race is cancelled. It might be something completely out of your control. How a lot of people deal with this is you have kind of 24 hours to be annoyed, pissed off, kind of process it. And then once you've kind of dealt with those initial feelings of just disappointment, which I'm sure pretty much all of the 24,000 runners must have felt. I'm sure there must be one person who was like, close one, almost had to run a marathon. Got away with that. Yeah. But that would have been
That would have been Rick. Yeah, 100%.
But then you can start to plan what's next. Are you going to sign up to another race? You've still done a phenomenal training block. You've still banked all of that fitness.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's something you can do. Verona Marathon apparently is still open, which was what was going on in my WhatsApp group for my running club.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Ria
So
from
you
my running
take
club
your
was gonna run.
training and you just switch quickly to.
Yeah, I think that's in 2 or 3 weeks.
It's though, isn't it? I suppose,
yeah.
just kind of going.
And that's the hard thing, because like the marathon obviously is, you've still flown out there, you've still stayed in a hotel, like all of that expense is probably for the marathon, but then you can't get that back because you're
And
already
of
there.
course, we sent Jess over there, and she was going to do, I think it was her
37th
marathon of
this
the year.
Yeah.
So she couldn't run, but she did send us a lovely note.
Lovely.
Hi, Jess here reporting live from Cape Town. Now, unfortunately, Cape Town Marathon has been cancelled due to extremely high winds. But I know a lot of you podcast listeners love a quiz, so I'm going to go for it anyway and test your knowledge with a few questions about South Africa. Number 1, what is the name of the traditional barbecue in South Africa?
So each of us is going to lock in an answer to each of these questions, and then producer Owen's going to give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down as to whether we're right. I have this on the tip of my tongue and I can't remember.
Yeah, I
I know the answer.
There's a pub very near where I live that has a South, and this word is outside the pub.
Come on, can I say
No,
it?
I don't know. Sarah?
I'm also...
Feels really unfair.
How does Rick know this?
No, because we know you know the answer, so you get to reveal it at the end and win. Because it's not...
No, the only thing I have in my head is wrong. Jerk chicken, but that's Jamaican, isn't it?
Yeah, that is.
I mean, you couldn't be more wrong.
I know, what is it?
It's a braai.
Oh, yes!
Yes.
Correct.
Next.
Producer owner said correct.
Number 2, what 6 colours are on the South Africa flag?
So I think black, white, red, blue, green, yellow. Yes.
Hang on.
Sarah can't
Can
do
we
that.
do that
exactly
again
the same.
slowly?
Exactly
Black,
the
This
same.
is like countdown.
Hang
where they got
on.
like
Exactly
every-
the same.
Yeah. Very well done, Rick.
black, white. What was the next one?
Red, blue,
Yeah.
green, yellow.
Yes.
Right. Do you know the colour that I couldn't remember? so I got black, green, yellow, blue, red, and then I was like, God, there's something else on there.
So you didn't have white?
I didn't have white. Honestly, I had orange.
Andy, yeah,
Which I think would be a lovely addition.
Yeah, I think we did well.
Okay, right.
Okay.
One more chance for me.
And number 3, what is the name of the very famous mountain here in South Africa that I would have passed on the route if I had run the Cape Town Marathon?
That's a bit of a disappointing third one, isn't it?
I know this one.
Oh, actually, no, I've said that, and now I don't know what it's called.
Unfortunate for you. I'm not
Cambridge,
helping.
you surprised me.
No, I'm not helping. Don't help him.
Yeah, didn't do geography there, did I?
No, but didn't you do general studies?
Not at university.
At school?
Yes, I did, yeah.
Not
That's a
general
long,
enough.
long time ago. We were just learning about like horse and cart, I had to write all my answers on a slate in case I got caned.
Well,
Is that your answer? Oh no, sorry.
Yeah.
Caned mountain.
table.
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 You
Did
got
you
it.
write down table?
No, I wrote down Cape Town to start with.
Did you get that? or
Did you get that?
Yes,
Did
no,
you-
I did get.
Honestly?
Yes, honestly.
I don't think
did-
he did. I don't think he did.
Kind of.
Well, I mean, I don't win anyway, so
Yeah.
Yeah, true. I mean, I've lost. Well, great quiz, Jess. Thanks.
That accolade goes to.
Rick Kelsey.
Thank you.
Whilst we're on the subject of news,
Yes.
can I give some news
Yes.
about myself?
Like yourself.
Guess who got selected for the cross-country team?
Oh, congratulations!
Serious?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look,
Which
Rick's
cross-country team?
For my running club. The thing I
How
never
did you get
shut up
selected?
about. I don't know. Someone just came over to
Does
me.
everybody get selected?
Well, no, it wasn't like an official.
If you write your name in a box, do you get selected?
Everyone, I'm pretty sure the way it works is everyone runs, but then we also have a team. And anyway, Pete from my running club came up to me in training and was like, by the way, you're in the cross country team.
Oh,
No.
thanks,
Yeah,
Pete.
Rick, do we think there's a distinction here between selected and accepted?
I don't think there's a difference.
You're allowed.
I think-
We're not so embarrassed
think
by you
if
that we
you-
are going to let you turn up this time.
He could have put it another way and said, Sarah, we haven't forbidden you from running in the cross-country team.
What are you talking about? I am an asset.
If you sign up, you're in.
I mean, I can't make the first one, but that second
brilliant.
one, I
All
will
right.
be there scoring.
Oh, is that
Hey,
because you're doing
Sarah.
the underground marathon?
Because I'm doing the underground marathon. Yeah.
Didn't you want to talk about the 24-hour world champs as well?
Yes, I did. Sorry, that's much more exciting news than my cross country. So, Meg from the Running Channel is really good mates with Kelsey Price, who we had on the podcast. You
Yes.
might remember, phenomenal ultra runner who I think at the time that we spoken to her was waiting to see if she was going to qualify for the world champs, which were in Albi in France and happened last weekend. She did qualify. Not only did she qualify and run in the 24-hour world championships, she helped Team GB in Northern Ireland to win gold in the team event.
Wow.
She ran phenomenally far and was part of the kind of how it works is you have a team and then the top 3 score. So Sarah Webster, also from Team GB, won the overall event and ran 278.622 kilometers and ran a IAU world record for the 24-hour event.
That's on a track, right?
Yeah.
278 kilometres on a
Yeah.
track.
Well, I mean, it is on a track, but it also was slightly longer than a track. Kelsey also ran a PB. I mean, it boggles my brain just how fast they're running. They're essentially, the winners were like 7 to 8 minute miling.
Yeah.
Constantly for 24 hours. That's
Yeah.
695 laps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Well, like I
or
said,
more.
it was slightly longer than a
So it wasn't
track
a
lap.
standard running track?
No, it was like on a track and then they also did a bit of a wiggle. So quite a lot of corners. Finland took gold for the men's. But yeah, absolutely
Quietly
phenomenal run from
determined,
Sarah
yeah.
Webster, and also well done to Kelsey.
Yeah,
And
well done.
Sophie Power, who we've also had on the channel, was running too.
It blows my mind. I can get my head around most things in running,
Yeah,
but these things I can't.
I know.
Like, I find it much easier to accept that someone can run a sub 2 hour marathon
Then someone can run.
than that someone can run nearly 700 kilometers,
Yeah.
700 laps. of a
Also, I
track
saw
in-
pictures
in
of
24
like
hours.
Sarah, Sophie, and Kelsey. So they were all part of the winning Team GB team, and they look so happy.
Look
Like there's a
fresh.
really good photo of Sophie Power where she's like sticking her tongue out for a photographer
Yeah.
as she come past. I don't know how many hours in that was, but it looks
Yeah.
absolutely brutal.
It just, I think what upsets me the most is it just makes you feel rubbish about yourself, doesn't it? I was feeling quite
Well, it's
smug
not
about
all
my
about you, Andy.
about my 30k.
yeah. Sorry, how far did you run last week?
87 kilometers in a whole
they
week, and I'm
They
absolutely
were probably
battered.
8 hours in when
Yeah.
they ran it.
Yeah, don't let
Comparison
that-
is the
It
thief of
really is,
joy,
actually.
mate.
It has stolen
Yeah.
my joy
Yeah.
already. It's gone, evaporated.
Once
Run your own
competitive,
goals.
always
Run your own goals.
competitive.
Anyway, I've got a way to cheer you up anyway.
All right,
'Cause instead
ask
of
us a
questions
question.
today, we're going to be doing some marriage counselling.
Excellent. Let's go.
There it comes.
Ooh.
So this is Ben. He's writing from Toronto in Canada. And yes, Rick, on my long runs, I pass countless Tim Hortons, but I've yet to see a single grizzly bear.
Wow.
I've got a running dilemma and could really use your advice. My wife and I run the 2025 Berlin Marathon together, both chasing PRs, and neither of us got one. After the race, we made a deal. I'll run the Toronto Marathon at the end of October and take another shot at my PR. Then in New York, I'll pace her to reach hers. I'm totally fine pacing her, but I'd also prefer to stay married afterwards. I've heard Sarah give Andy grief for
she does,
being
yeah.
a few seconds off pace, and Rick talk about how elite pacers keep things calm and supportive. Let's just say I'm more of a David Goggins type, the tough love motivator who might start yelling about pain and glory, while she's the type who stops to take photos and enjoys the marathon. Who even does that, Andy?
That's his words. Yeah, that's Ben's words.
I'd
Who does
love your take. How do you keep someone motivated and on pace without becoming the annoying coach they want to ditch at mile 30? And if they start to fall behind, what's the best way to bring them back
Well,
without
firstly,
breaking their spirit?
hopefully, Ben, you mean kilometre 30, because if you're at mile 30, you've gone too far.
Good point.
That's
in
true.
the
Good
marathon.
point.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't have a good answer to this because I am you, Ben, and Tom is your lovely wife. Tom, well, actually, I just don't know what Tom wants, and I still haven't figured it out. But if I ever pace Tom, then you're
job you're not marrying him.
You're guaranteed a little dispute in the middle. You're guaranteed that I'm the type of person that's being like, get on with it. Come on. Why are you so weak? And he doesn't like that.
You've not loved my pacing strategies either, have you? I think
No.
that your very first experience of this was a really hot day in a park run
Yeah.
in the middle of nowhere in a car park, basically.
Yeah.
It was a rubbish parkrun.
Yeah.
And I tried the whole, this answers the question of maybe how not to do it. It's like, how do you keep them on pace without becoming the annoying coach? And if they start to fall behind, what's the best way to bring them back without breaking their spirit? I ran about 5 meters in front of you, pointing at the floor next to me like you were a dog, saying, this is where you need to be. This is the pace. Get on get here.
Yeah, I mean, I did get a PB.
Yeah. And
I did get a PB when you paced me to sub 20. Just wasn't sub 20.
no.
But then I think you never know. So the hard thing is just you never know what's going on inside someone's head.
Yeah.
So like all of my criticisms, I would have been like, well, I thought we were really far off sub 20 when you were pacing me for sub 20. So what I needed was someone being like, you're only 10 seconds off. Keep up.
Yeah, the problem was we'd had a discussion beforehand,
where I was like,
you were like,
I don't
"Don't
want
tell
to
me."
know anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, really,
actually your fault.
really unclear advice from me. I would say, whatever you do, don't make this the first run. Like, go out. It's hard because Toronto and New York are so close together. But I would say, if you can, go out on a training run together and just have a little bit of a practice, because that'll make a huge difference.
And maybe focus on some things that aren't directly related to pace or the personal best, personal record.
Make sure you got a B goal and a C goal, because that'll make a difference.
Well, I was thinking, we talked about breathing in this episode, like maybe give some cues and stuff, have some cues lined up, which are almost distractions. So it's like, okay, right, for the next K, we're going to focus on our breathing. Okay, for the next mile, we're going to look at this guy in front of us who's got a red vest on. We're not going to let that person get in it. We've got an invisible elastic band. We're going to keep that there. I don't know, just have something that's not so personal. That might help.
Would you let Chantal pace you for a marathon, Rick?
No, I would stay well clear. I'd keep running and Chantal running together, completely separate.
Yeah.
But I do have some half decent advice for Ben. I ran a 5K PB with Steph Kessel, the GB Olympic runner.
Yeah.
And when I was off the pace, as Ben is talking about here, he asked, what would you do? Well, I'd do what Steph did to me.
Yeah.
So she's running the pace line. This is where you need to be.
So she's like the laser line in Ellie
She's the laser line.
Sub 2 hour.
I lost the laser line and I think it's gone. But what Steph did, instead of just staying on the line, she pulled back incrementally over a kilometre and kept encouraging me thinking that she was the line.
Yeah.
So I could get back on her shoulder.
So she just gently allowed. So you were still slightly behind.
So I was still slightly behind for a kilometre. And she pulled me back and I was like, oh, hang on, how am I back on her shoulder? Am I back on the line? Yeah. And then she took me.
Yeah, interesting.
So
I honestly think it's mind games.
Very subtle how she did it, but that's how I got a PB.
Clever.
So I would say pull back with her and don't follow the pace line.
Yeah.
Because although it's useful to know where it is, if you think it's gone and it's too far ahead, it's gone. It's all in your head.
Well, best of luck. Let us know how it goes.
This prompted another question for me, just to finish off the episode, which they use the word PR because they're from Canada, and that's what they'd say in America as well. So personal record, and we'd say PB, personal best. I was just thinking as I was reading it, which one's sort of more, I don't know, which one sounds better or cooler or harder, perhaps. I think a personal record sounds sort of more aggressive almost. I don't know, I was just thinking about it as we were reading about it.
No, I see what you mean. Yeah.
I don't have a strong pull to either.
I suppose it's what you're familiar with.
Yeah.
I mean, people always talk to us about why we talk in kilometres when we have miles in the UK.
Yeah.
And I did a little post in the club last week about, the mile is quite a random Roman
it's not even a neat round number,
setting.
Is it? 1.6 something.
It comes from the Romans. Like that's how we got
Is
a
that
mile.
where it comes from?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So
it's even a weird number of feet and yards. It's not like because it was pre-decimalisation.
I think I'll just stick with PB.
Stick with PB.
Yeah.
Let us know what you choose, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.